Have you ever wondered why the most powerful people in history were the ones who were the hardest to reach? Why some individuals hold influence, respect, and authority effortlessly, while others who try to be everywhere and available to everyone are ignored and forgotten? Welcome to Psychology Academy. Today, we explore Nietzsche's profound lesson. Stop being available. Not just in the obvious ways, not just physically, but in your words, your attention, your energy, and your presence. This is a lesson that reshapes how people perceive you, how you perceive yourself, and how power quietly gathers around those who understand it. Imagine the difference between a river overflowing its banks, flooding every field, and a hidden spring in the desert, precious and guarded. The overflowing river is taken for granted, expected, and ultimately unnoticed. The hidden spring is sought after, revered, and remembered. Your presence, your attention, and your time operate in the same way. Nietzsche understood this. He understood that true strength is cultivated in absence, in scarcity, and in deliberate withdrawal. The more available you are, the less impact your presence has. The less available you are, the more your value grows, like a rare gem whose worth is determined by its rarity and the desire it evokes in those who cannot easily reach it. Think of a man in a village who is always present, always helping, always answering every call. Over time, the villagers take him for granted. His words lose weight. His actions become ordinary. Now imagine another man, quiet, selective, appearing only when necessary, speaking only when it matters. His absence builds curiosity. His words carry weight. When he does appear, people listen. They remember. They respect. Scarcity creates reverence. Nietzsche recognized that those who are constantly available lose their edge. Their energy leaks into trivialities. Their attention is divided. Their power dissolves. But by choosing where to invest your presence, by being measured, deliberate, and intentional, you cultivate influence. You cultivate respect. You cultivate magnetism. And if you want to continue seeing truths like this, truths most people will never know, subscribe now or you might never see this channel again. The knowledge you're hearing, the psychology that shapes influence, it is hidden from those who do not seek it. Today, we begin by examining your own life. Notice where you are overavailable. To whom are you constantly giving attention? Which demands, requests, or social interactions drain you unnecessarily? Recognize them. Record them. Awareness is the first step. When you observe how often you sacrifice your own priorities, your own energy, your own mind, you begin to reclaim it. You begin to see the hidden patterns of influence. The world rewards those who understand the rhythm of attention, who speak and act with purpose. Now let's pause for a moment and consider a story. In a small mountain village, there lived two men. One was always there for everyone. He answered every request, joined every conversation, and smiled at every passing stranger. People liked him, yes, but they did not respect him. His presence was expected, invisible. The second man lived in solitude. He appeared rarely. When he spoke, people leaned in. His words were remembered long after he left. Curiosity and respect grew around him because of his scarcity. By being less available, he became more powerful in perception and influence. Nietzsche's philosophy is not about withdrawal for withdrawal's sake. It is about strategic absence, measured presence, and the deliberate cultivation of value. Power is not in responding to every call. It is in choosing which calls to answer, which people to meet, which moments to engage. In social dynamics, in business, in relationships, those who are scarce command attention, respect, and influence naturally. When you begin to understand this rhythm, your life changes. Your presence becomes intentional. Your words carry weight. Your energy is protected. Your mind is focused. And when you act, it is with precision and authority. Solitude becomes your ally. Silence becomes your tool. Words, when spoken, become weapons of influence. Actions, when undertaken, become statements of power. Scarcity becomes magnetism. Notice the subtle ways you are giving yourself away in everyday life. the immediate responses to messages, the eager agreement to requests, the constant availability to friends, colleagues, or social media. Each moment of unconsidered availability chips away at your influence. Each time you choose deliberately to step back, to withhold, to focus on what truly matters, your power grows. Nietzsche's lessons stretch further. Not only does withdrawal and scarcity cultivate external respect, it strengthens the self internally. Time alone, considered thought, reflection, and deliberate action develop clarity, independence, and mastery of one's own mind. When you stop being constantly available, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect, to create, and to act with intention. This is the foundation of self-mastery. Consider the balance between engagement and withdrawal. The goal is not complete isolation. The goal is strategic presence. It is measured availability. It is the understanding that when you are always present, always accessible, your influence is diluted. When you appear selectively, your influence is concentrated. Let the idea sink in. Observe how, in your own experience, those who are rarely seen or seldom spoken to often carry the most weight in conversations. Their absence amplifies their presence. Their scarcity magnifies their impact. Now, as you reflect on this, consider your own daily habits. Where are you overexposed? Where are you scattering your energy without purpose? Where are you available at the expense of your own priorities? Begin to make small, deliberate changes. Say no where appropriate. Delay responses when possible. Protect your time and your energy. Speak only when your words will carry weight. Appear only when your presence will be noticed. In doing this, you begin to embody Nietzsche's principle. Your influence grows. Your respect grows. Your life begins to shift. And as we continue deeper into this understanding, you will notice subtle changes in how others perceive you. People begin to seek your presence. They pay attention when you speak. They anticipate your actions. They remember what you say. They respect the boundaries you set. They recognize your power. And now, if you want to continue experiencing these lessons and receiving the full depth of insights from Psychology Academy, subscribe now, or you might never see this channel again. Remember that influence and respect are cultivated in absence as much as presence. The human mind responds to scarcity. The desire for engagement, for interaction, for attention, grows when it is not freely available. Strategic unavailability amplifies perception, respect, and ultimately power. Reflect on the small actions you can take to apply this today. Protect 1 hour solely for yourself. Decline one unnecessary request. Speak only when your words will be remembered. Withdraw from one trivial interaction. Each small act reinforces the rhythm Nietzsche describes. Solitude nurtures clarity. Deliberate silence magnifies attention. Scarcity transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. The river overflowing floods the banks. The hidden spring draws the traveler across the desert. Your presence is the spring. Cultivate it, guard it, and as you internalize this, consider the long-term effects. Those who understand scarcity, measured presence, and strategic engagement shape the perceptions of those around them. They command respect without force. They influence without coercion. They lead without noise. Their lives are richer, more focused, and more powerful. Every deliberate choice you make in limiting availability, every intentional act of withdrawal, every moment of focused presence, builds this influence. The world begins to lean toward you. People respond differently. Your words carry weight. Your actions resonate. And through this journey, you cultivate mastery not only over how others see you, but over your own mind. Nietzsche's teaching is timeless because the psychology behind it is immutable. Humans respond to scarcity. Value grows when it is guarded. Attention becomes precious when it is selective. Power accrues to those who understand and apply these principles consistently. Let these truths settle in your mind as you move forward. Observe your habits, your availability, your energy, your attention. Apply deliberate scarcity. Cultivate measured presence. Protect your time and your energy as treasures. Speak when it matters. Act when it matters. And in doing so, you step into the rhythm of power Nietzsche outlined, experiencing the subtle, undeniable growth of influence, respect, and mastery over your own life. Think of the times when you gave someone every ounce of your attention, your energy, and your availability. What happened? Did they value it? Or did they begin to expect it, to assume you would always be there at their call? The hard truth is, human beings rarely treasure what they can access without effort. This is why Nietzsche's warning cuts so deeply. To stop being available is not to retreat into isolation, but to choose deliberately when and to whom you give your presence. It is to understand that your attention is a form of currency, and if you spend it carelessly, it loses its worth. Now imagine two kings. The first king walks through his city daily, speaking to every villager, solving every minor problem, making himself endlessly present. At first, the people cheer. They feel close to him. But soon, they begin to complain that he is not fast enough, not generous enough, not attentive enough. His presence, once valued, is now taken for granted. The second king, however, is rarely seen. He appears only on the most important days, speaks only on matters of great weight, and when he enters the city, silence falls. His words echo in the hearts of his people because they are rare, and because they come from someone who has chosen to remain distant. Which king do you think commands more power? Which king do the people whisper about in their homes? Waiting, anticipating, craving his presence. Nietzsche would argue, it is always the second. Your life operates the same way. If you are always in every group chat, replying instantly, always saying yes to every request, you become the first king. You become common. You become expected. But when you withhold yourself, when you choose carefully, when you embrace silence and space, you create longing. You make others lean in, waiting for your words. The irony is that by doing less, you command more. By being absent, you become unforgettable. Let's pause for a moment. Picture yourself in a room full of people. Some talk constantly, filling the air with chatter. Others sit quietly, speaking only when necessary. Who do you notice more? Who leaves an impression? It is rarely the one who speaks endlessly. It is the one who holds their words until the perfect moment, who seems to measure their presence with precision. This is not arrogance. This is discipline. This is psychological power. And here is the secret: power is built not only on what you give, but on what you withhold. Nietzsche believed that restraint was the mark of strength. A person who cannot say no is not generous, they are weak. A person who cannot withhold is not kind, they are desperate. Real authority comes from the ability to remain unavailable, to create mystery, to leave space for others to wonder what you are doing, what you are thinking, who you truly are. This is why so many historical figures remain fascinating centuries later. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, did not write for fame. His meditations were private thoughts withheld from the world. Yet today they command respect. Leonardo da Vinci left countless works unfinished, ideas hidden, discoveries locked in notebooks never published. But this secrecy, this withholding, only increased his aura. They were not everywhere, not endlessly available, and that is why their presence still looms over history. Nietzsche himself lived a life apart, often withdrawing from society, writing in solitude. His absence was his message. Ask yourself, where in your life are you too available? Where are you giving yourself away for free? Your time? Your energy? Your attention? Each moment you give without thought is a moment that reduces your value in the eyes of others. To reclaim your power, you must begin the art of absence. You must teach yourself to resist the temptation to respond instantly, to always show up, to always be there. Instead, you must learn to appear rarely, but with such intensity, such clarity, that when you do appear, the world listens. Remember, the lessons you've learned today are rare. Most will never hear them. Protect them, apply them, and if you want to continue walking this path of understanding, subscribe now, because the truths that shape power are not shared openly.